Hello, this is Dr. Young, and I'm going to go over week 2 assignments. For this for this week, we're going to we're going to define what internal alignment is, and it really is kind of analyzing the skills and competencies needed for a position, how those positions are related to each other, and how pay is determined and connected to each type of position. So think of it like the organizational structure. You'll have your departments, but within those departments, you have titles and pay, titles and kind of a lot of times you'll have a hierarchy of positions. You'll have a team leader. You'll have higher level managers, middle level managers, lower level managers, and people that work under those managers, and you have kind of an order, and within those positions you have to determine the pay scale and grades. So you're going to have to kind of analyze the different skills, competencies, and stuff needed for those positions and how to put a price on that. So then we're getting down to the nuts and bolts of compensation here. And so we have to figure out how that works. So before we get into actual methods of doing, okay, here's the job A. What do we pay that job? Well, does it have more responsibility than job, I don't know, B or C? Or does it have more stress? Or does it have more, advanced skill sets needed? It just, got a lot of factors into that. But first we have to kind of get an idea of how positions are aligned within an organization. So, in your text, you're going to read about some of the strategies that are involved in developing that kind of a total compensation strategy. And then you're going to talk about whether that you're going to have to be able to determine whether any kind of strategy delivers a competitive advantage, which really means how does that stand out? How does that make that organization stand out from another one? Do they offer more in regards to compensation? And some companies do and some don't, depending on what their strategy is. If they want to be, if they have a retention strategy, for example, well, obviously they're definitely going to have a competitive advantage. But maybe their compensation strategy isn't. Maybe it's, let's just get people in here at the minimum pay level. Well, their strategy is high turnover. There are companies that have that strategy because, that's your kind of companies that it's your first job. It's going to be your first job. They know it's going to be your first job. They're going to expect you to quit, and they're probably going to spend little money on training and development because they know they're not going to keep people around for long. But, that is a strategy, believe it or not. I mean, think of it on a continuum of low pay. You're going to low pay, you're probably not going to spend a lot on training because you're going to get people in and out of here all the time. But you're going to have some kind of on the job type of training. So you're not going to spend a lot of money trying to retain people because that's not what you're trying to do. But, again, if you have someone that's highly skilled, if you're a company that likes to keep people around for a long time, you're going to pay them more. A good example of that is Aldi grocery store. You may or may not have heard of it, but they pay their cashiers probably the highest, or one of the highest, salaries for that type of job, with the intent of that person staying there and possibly getting promoted into other positions in the company. So, it just depends on the strategy. That's just an example. So, for the discussion, you're just going to talk about these two types of structures, hierarchical and egalitarian. and you're going to, what I'd like you to do is define them and then apply it to a typical structure within colleges. So here's an example. So just apply it to this example. What do you think it is and why, after you define what they are? And if there's any additional information that you need to decide. Make sure to read chapter 3, and I don't know, someone had presented a question to me and I wanted to address it this week. That in other classes the initial post is set up by Wednesday. This one is Thursday. They aren't all the same, or they're not consistent university-wide. So you get another, last term I had one that was due Wednesday. This one's due Thursday. So that's just make sure to post it by Thursday. That's your initial post. All right. And then your test. Your quiz covers material from week 2. Obviously, the lectures in chapter 3. 10 multiple choice and 10 true false. So if you have any questions about that, also, let me just bring this up. If you see anything that doesn't look right, let me know. Email me. And the reason I say that is because there are times when I've noticed in other courses, the test bank will be the same, but the text has changed, and the test bank may not reflect that. So I tell students this every term so I can catch any errors if there are any. So if you feel like something's not right, like for example, a question on there, you answer it based on your text and it says it's wrong, even though it states it in the text, let me know. But make sure the wording is exactly the same, because one word can throw it off. So that's really all there is. Next week you will start to do research for your group project. I'm going to go ahead and assign group study, project groups tonight. So what you should be able to do is look in the group study area and find your group. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you look on there, you should be able to post and introduce yourselves. Or, you can start doing week 3 early if you want, but I won't post a video of it until next week. But basically, you're researching in the Florida Tech Library for articles to support your group project. And it does tell you the topics that you're going to be looking at. So you could start that early if you want. So that's really all there is. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and I'll be happy to assist you. Have a great week.